Lately, there's been a trend in the Minecraft community. Everyone's talking about forever worlds. You know, those long-term survival worlds that people have kept for years, full of incredible builds, rich histories, and countless memories. And at first I thought, I can't make a video about this. I've never had a survival world last for more than a year. I've tried a few times, even with hardcore, but eventually I struggle with what many other players do, finding the motivation to return. So I dismissed the idea. I thought I had nothing to contribute to this discussion. But then, on a boring Sunday, I was placing some blocks and then I realized I actually do have a Minecraft Forever world. It's just different. Unlike most Forever worlds, mine isn't a survival world. It's a creative project. A massive, long-term city building plan that I've been working on for more than 2 years now. I call it the Capital. It's a 3000 by 3000 map with a unique layout. The concept? 7 different cities, each with their own civilization coexisting in one massive world. It started as a simple idea, but over the years it's evolved into something much bigger. And today I want to share not just what I built, but also how I stayed motivated to keep coming back and working on this project. Because if you struggle with commitment in Minecraft, maybe a different approach, a creative approach, could be the key to unlocking your own forever world. So, what keeps me coming back to this world year after year? I think I can narrow this down into 4 key points. One of the biggest motivators for me is storytelling. Each city in the capital has its own identity, its own culture, and its own history. For example, the city of the Golden Dwarfs is inhabited by dwarves who mine for gold. They live underground in huge, intricate mountain halls, and because they mine for gold, the landscape is full of golden accents, massive statues, and hints of their history. This storytelling aspect makes building feel like solving a puzzle. Instead of placing blocks randomly, I ask myself some questions. Why would this civilization build this way? How have they shaped their environment? How has the environment shaped them? And what historical events reflect on their style? Even if I don't write down a detailed lore, these little ideas keep my creativity flowing and make every build feel meaningful. In other words, try telling a story through the builds. The truth about Minecraft is that it's a sandbox, which means that there's always room to grow and try new things. In survival, I often feel limited by resources, time, and gameplay mechanics. You know, placing every single block. But in creative mode, especially using tools like Axiom, I can focus purely on design, style, and technique, allowing myself to continuously experiment with different color palettes, unique shading and gradient techniques, new architectural styles, world-building aspects, and landscaping. Instead of spending hours farming materials, I can focus entirely on the artistic side of building, and explore the frontiers of my abilities, pushing every time further to achieve better-looking builds and learn more things in the process. Creative mode gives you endless possibilities, but sometimes too much freedom can be overwhelming. You might struggle deciding what to build next, in which style, on what scale, or where. That's why I set myself with some limitations for the capital. For instance, the buildings need to fit within an established aesthetic for each city, influenced by their story and characteristic color. To some extent, builds must feel real, which is why I don't have and won't have any floating structures, for example. The fantasy and magic comes from the storytelling aspects in this world. I take time to polish my builds, instead of rushing through them. I've gone through stages of tearing down and reviewing entire structures or mountains just because I didn't like them enough. These self-imposed rules give me a sense of challenge and help keep the project structured. Instead of feeling lost in endless possibilities, I have a rough guideline to follow, something that helps me decide what to build next, where, why, and how. You can be as strict or as loose as you want with your rules, or you can even make them as you go. That is only up to you. This to me is the most important factor. I don't just build in isolation. I share my progress through live streams, videos, and make my community part of it. Streaming this world on Twitch and YouTube has been a game changer. Building massive cities can be time-consuming and exhausting, but sharing that journey with others makes it so much more enjoyable. Plus, I've even made viewers part of the world. On my streams, people can claim houses that I built for them in a city of their choosing. It's a small way of making others part of this. So the project doesn't feel mine alone, but instead it has a small fragment of everyone that came along in this journey. If you struggle with motivation, consider sharing your world in some way. Whether it's through videos, social media posts, or even just showing it to your friends, getting feedback and getting others to participate by simply giving you ideas can really ignite the spark of motivation that you need to continue building. Even with all these steps in mind, there might be times when you are just not inspired. That happens to everyone, all the time. In YouTube videos, it appears to be that huge Minecraft projects appear from thin air in under 10 minutes. But the truth is that in most cases, and for most people, including myself, these projects can take weeks, months, or even years to complete. So feeling uninspired or not motivated is inevitably part of the process, especially for large projects. The important thing is to not let that stop you. I like to take breaks, work on something different, and come back when I am inspired again. You don't need to build everything in under 3 days like your favorite YouTuber. You can take your time, do it at your own rhythm, and enjoy the game in the process. The exact same thing applies if your build is not turning out as you originally imagined it. Learn to be happy with your results even if they are not perfect for you. In your next project you will have learned a bunch of things to make that one even better. Practice is the best way of improving. Now of course there are a bunch of aspects from world building and building in general that can help you get started and complete a creative project like this. To name a few, planning is one of the most important things to do prior to building. Having this as a guideline to know where things need to go and what you need to build next plays a huge role to not end up with a mess. Taking the scale into consideration has a big impact during all of the process, and with this I not only mean the size of a build alone, but the relative sizes and distances between different builds. You don't want a big tower to look small because there's a large tree right next to it, for instance. Creating or having access to building assets is key to speed things up. It's really nice to have unique designs everywhere, but sometimes you need a forest and can't spend a month designing 100 different trees. Mastering different building tools like Axiom or World Edit can really unlock your creativity. It goes beyond saying how difficult it would be to tackle a project of this size without mods like Axiom to build things faster and correct the mistakes that you make along the way. The capacity of the world design to be explorable and entertaining to do so can help connect all the pieces of the puzzle together and make the world feel alive and cohesive. All of these are not trivial, but I won't go into much more detail right now because it's out of the scope of this video. I will however dedicate a different video to share what I've learned about world building so far. So if there are any aspects that you would like me to go more in depth about, please feel free to let me know in the comments. I used to think that if I didn't have a survival forever world, I wasn't playing the right way. But I realized that my forever world just looks different. At the end of the day, Minecraft isn't about playing a certain way. It's about finding what works for you. Some players thrive in survival, some prefer redstone, some love exploring. For me, it's creative building. So perhaps if there's someone who is more like me, someone that is constantly inspired to create new things out of their imagination, perhaps a creative project is what you need to build all the things that you want faster and without the restrictions of survival. You can find your forever world somewhere else. My forever world is different and so can be yours. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Calvin and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.